Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing day. That's like a starter line for me.
Yeah, amazing day. What's going on, everybody? It's Pastor Marlon, and that's the starter line for me. But it's
Are you
Marlon.
Pastor Merlin right now?
It's Marlon right now. It's Marlon right now. We just chilling, relaxing, cooling our schools out, shooting some b-ball outside of
We
school.
tried this before, and
What the
yeah,
the Fresh Prince rap?
yes. I think I did better at it than you did.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
so.
we said we weren't gonna do it no more. Did we say that?
I don't know about that because who doesn't know the Fresh Prince rap? Who doesn't know the Fresh Prince rap? If you don't know the Fresh Prince rap, then you are Black Card Revoked.
That's a game. We played that game before. Black Card Revolt.
Black Card Revoked. We should play it on here.
We should. I do think that your card might be taken a lot quicker sooner than my card will be taken. No? You don't think? I mean, this is a weird conversation to have, but you don't think I'm blacker than you are?
No, I'm definitely blacker than you are.
I don't know if the word would be blacker. I'm way more urban than you are. Come on, tell me what you got with that. Am I more urban than you are? Not that it's not, I'm not trying to get a belt or, a trophy for being more urban than you are. I'm just making a point.
You are more urban than I am. Absolutely. But with that being said, that doesn't mean that you know the black culture better than I do.
What's the opposite of urban?
Suburban?
Am I more suburban than you are? Can I be both?
No.
Can I be both? Can I be more urban than you are?
I'm sure you can.
And more suburban than you are?
I'm sure you can, but you also got to know that one is bigger than the other, right? So it can't be 50-50. So either you're...
Oh, I misunderstood you. Okay, I got it now.
No,
I got
it
it now.
can't be 50-50. It can't be 50-50.
Come on, say it, Daydream. Just that that just finishes it.
I'm more well-rounded.
What's my line? Point blank, the end.
I'm more well-rounded. I mean, so yeah, I'm not just going to watch black shows. I'm going to diversify. I'm going to watch more shows.
I diversify most certainly, but in thought, action, indeed, I might be more urban and also suburban than you are.
Anyway, back to the game.
I am a chameleon. I could do it. I could do them both.
Anyway, back to Black Card Revolt. We're gonna play that one day. So no, there's no way that you would beat me in that game. There's no way you know the culture better than I do. There's no way. You may be from the hood. You may be from Plainfield. Shout out Plainfield. I was in Plainfield for about like 8 years. I left in 8th grade. Then I went to Franklin Park. Amen. I got around deers and Indians. Amen. So I think that's what's out there. There's nothing wrong with that.
Where can we edit this? So
ain't nothing wrong with. I'm not saying like my mom and my pops took me from Plainfield. My mom pops took me from Plainfield, and they moved me to Franklin Park. And at the time, it was it was Caucasians, and but it wasn't that many blacks. But anyway, nonetheless, we're gonna play that game, Black Card Revolt. Amen.
Let's do it.
But nonetheless, we thank y'all for tuning in with Loc'd Together. We were just trying to stall for some people to come in here. We have been missing for a while.
Yeah.
For a while. Amen. We was even contemplating about missing today.
Yeah.
Amen. But we said, nah, we got to do it. People have been texting us. People have been asking us, so we got to do it. So we want to share with them why we've been missing?
We've been missing really because of me, right? You're so sweet and you're just amazing. So you'll say we're both exhausted and we both got a lot on our plate and there's a lot happening with MKW and the Well, right? He's a pastor. The Well, our family, there's a lot happening with our family, but my husband is a beast, okay? So all of that don't mean nothing to him. Me, on the other hand, not as much as a beast as he is. So I've just been tired. Yeah, I be tired. And so we've had to make some adjustments because, there's a lot going on in life. So had to make some adjustments. And so I wouldn't say it's a compromise, but our arrangement that we came up with was once a month.
Yeah, we was like that horse that came out the gate too fast and couldn't finish the laps because he didn't pace himself, right?
It was more so me.
Right.
But he's so sweet. But he's a beast. He's like, let's go. He can be exhausted. I'm dragging. I'm tired. I know I still got stuff to do afterwards. So
rightfully so. We came out the gate too fast. We came with every week. And there were some people who said, Marlon, you sure? You sure?
I think I was one of those people like, baby, you sure?
You sure? So nonetheless, we have scaled that down to once a month every first Sunday. So tell your people, share it, like it, subscribe. Every first Sunday of the month, Locked Together will be here at 6 o'clock. And also too, that will give you some time. That will give you some guys some time to miss us, right? To miss us.
Absence makes the heart
absence
go
make
fonder.
the heart go fonder, right? So hopefully that's what that will do. Hopefully that is what that will do. Again, church, family just came out the gate kind of too strong, but nonetheless we're here, amen. And we're still going to do our 40 minutes. We're still going to do our 40 minutes. We're not going to say because we're once a month we're going to go to an hour and a half. We still going to do 40 minutes because we are still tired. You still got to get ready for work tomorrow. We still got to get ready.
Still tired.
We still tired. But nonetheless, we're here. So what are we talking about today, Keena?
Today, and this is a topic actually that we were going to talk about a few times, but we actually just ended up putting it off and going with other things. Things that make a relationship successful besides love. Things that make a relationship successful besides love. And like I said, Mama and I have talked about this so many times.
I mean, way back into when we were first married, like second, third year about it, right?
Yeah, right. And I think that we had a lot of commonalities, but there were some things that he would trump over, like the different things that we're going to talk about today. And everybody might categorize them into, different spaces, or I wasn't necessarily looking for the word categorizing, but you might number them. This might be number 1 for you, number 2 for you, most important for you. We're not giving them in any particular order at all. We're just saying that these are things that are very important in a relationship outside of love. Love needs to be a foundation, right? Love is necessary. But as we talked about in the past, like having a successful relationship, oftentimes when you start relationships, you don't even have love, right? That's something that you build over time. But outside of love, what is it going to take, 1, for you to get to love, and 2, what is it going to take to maintain that love once you get to it?
Absolutely. So, coined the phrase, the song, it was poignant for this moment in time from Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it? What's love got to do with it? So that's kind of what we're talking about this. Hey, listen, I love you, but what love got to do with this moment, and what's going to keep our relationship successful, even if we got love, of course, and we'll wrap it up.
Because if you have love, but you don't have anything else, then what do you really have?
Absolutely. What love got to do with it. All right. So we're going to get about 5 or 6.
I think we're going to go around 5. We'll see how it goes. So the first one that we have is interdependence. Interdependence. We hear people talk about being codependent on somebody in a relationship. Obviously, that's not something that we want, right? There might be some people who might brag and who might be happy to say that I'm codependent on him or I'm codependent on her. Here in our relationships, we don't believe in necessarily being codependent. We think that sometimes that can be a little toxic, where you feel like you can't do anything without that individual. You can't accomplish anything without that individual. He needs to be able to do things independently of me, and I need to be able to do things independently of him. Oftentimes, I think when people are codependent on each other, then I was talking to them about it, there might be trust issues. You might have an issue with being by yourself. You might have some insecurities. And so we don't want to feel like I absolutely can't survive without this person. Another opposite of codependency is counterdependency, and that's when you feel like you don't need that individual for nothing, right?
We definitely don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that at all. We know we hear some black woman being accused of that, you with this with this feminist movement that they can do everything by themselves, they don't need a man for anything. That's not what we want at all. We want interdependence, where I am able to do things like by myself, but I'm able to appreciate. I understand that there are some things that I need him for. There are some things that he needs me for. It's the balance. The perfect balance between being codependent and being counterdependent. We both know we need each other in our life. Even outside of all the different things that we have our hands in, outside of ministry, outside of our children, outside of, like I said, our other ministries, passions. Just as two individuals, we feel like we need each other. We have an appreciation for each other. And that is interdependence.
And it's so important for us to have that and to understand that. And that's a key to a successful relationship. Now, I think it's really quick to ask yourself, do we have interdependency, right? Do we have codependency, right? What's the other one? Counter dependency. So we're gonna ask myself and you ask yourself as even a question for you to ask your mate, your spouse, hey, or myself, am I interdependent? Are we interdependent? Right? Where we can balance both. Where we can balance both, because I think we say maybe in our first or second broadcast that it's important to have a life outside of our significant other. It's important. It's important, right? For many different reasons, but it's important. But I also want to let you know that I want to include you too, right? I want to include you. Like, you're necessary for me, right? You're necessary. So I don't want to be to where I don't need you at all. Right, but I don't always want to be where you going. I gotta be there. Are you coming with me? I can't say yes until you actually say yes. No, I gotta have a life outside of you, so you can ask yourself that question. And
as we were talking about this, I thought about something that Marlon says often. He says, like, you know how you say you complete me, and he always says, like, he doesn't want anyone who completes him, and he doesn't want to complete, necessarily anyone. He needs you to be complete. Be complete, please, and I'll be complete, and together we can come and just be amazing, together.
Because who
not
wants,
like two halves make whole. I need you to be whole before you get one.
Yeah, or at least working to be made whole, right? Because you still got some issues. But at the same token, who wants a half person, right? Who wants a half person? No, I don't really believe in you complete me. Now, you may have completed my life, right? You may have completed my life.
You make me better.
You make me better, right? You compliment me, right? You don't complete me, but you compliment me, right? Because again, we want people who's already trying to, who's completed to some degree, because we're always evolving, right? So we're always evolving, but at the same time, the same token, we want people who's going to compliment us.
Yes. I'm not that woman, and I don't think he's that man either to say, like, they wouldn't survive without me. Like, I would never say and really, really believe that my husband wouldn't survive without me. I think he is strong enough. I think he is wise enough. I think he has enough of God to be able to survive on this earth without me. Now, could he be maybe not be doing as well? Could he maybe be a different version of himself? Absolutely. I know I make a difference in his life. But I believe in him, and I believe in the God who we serve, that without me, he probably would be all right.
Yeah. Now, could she survive without me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I'm joking. She can't.
I don't want to survive.
No, we definitely would not want either to do that either way.
Right.
But we know that we can because of the person that we've married. We've married a strong individuals.
Yeah.
We've married competent individuals. Yes, certain things will take me back, right? But guess what? I am wise enough. She is wise enough to learn how to do certain things, right? There are some things there are certain things that I don't do. Not that I can't do, but I don't do. And if I can't do them, I know that I'm wise enough and competent to learn how to do it. Right, to learn how to do it. So, so with that being said, we want to, we want to be interdependent, but we balance it. We are codependent, right? We are codependent but at the same time that we are sharing a person that we do need them as well.
Right.
All right.
Okay, so our next one is effort. And this was something that I thought many of us who are in relationships could appreciate. You want to be in a relationship with someone who is putting forth the effort to make sure that your relationship stays healthy, to make sure that you are happy, to make sure that you are satisfied, to make sure that your needs are met. And the only way a person is going to do that is if they're willing to put forth the effort, not just what's convenient for them, not what makes them feel good, not just giving you necessarily what they might want you to have, but they're willing to go the extra mile. Like I said, they want to be uncomfortable, whether it's what it might take to maintain a relationship, i.e. communicating, talking on the phone, going out on dates, presenting themselves before you. It takes effort. Relationships take effort. It's not something that just happens by mistake or it just happens as we go through the day to day of our life. It's something that takes effort. So we think that that's something that's vital for a happy and successful relationship. And if you start finding yourself getting caught up in the routine
of the lack of effort, and because I have the person and because they're here, trust me, whether they say it or not, it is weighing on them. Whether they say it or not, they're weighing them. Because the person who's not giving the effort is going to say, hey, look, we've been married, we've been together, right? But the other person, whether they say it or not, is saying to themselves, you're not even trying to please me. You're not even trying. Now, they may never say it out loud, but in their mind, they're saying, you're not even trying to please me. You're not even trying to listen. You're not even trying to meet me halfway. You're not even trying, right? So again, and I believe, and so now, but with that being said, if you can identify where your spouse or your loved one is at least trying, you need to show them that you know that they're trying. They may have failed. They may not have completed the task completely, but you have noticed, hey, look, you have been trying. You started saying some things. So I encourage you, yes, you gotta put forth effort. Don't ever cop that attitude to say, hey, I already got her.
Yes.
She already got me, or I already got him, right? So why do I have to try? Why do I have to put forth an effort? Because we're the other person, whether they say it or not, they're looking for an effort. They're looking for someone to tell them they're beautiful, looking for someone to look nice every now and again, looking for someone, and so, you know, I don't want to go too far on this topic, but again, you know, that's what ends up happening.
Right.
You know, when I start to wander, or we don't, because you're not even trying to please me. You're not even trying to. But if you know somebody, I mean, who knows somebody? If your spouse is trying to please you and trying to put forth the effort, but may have failed, may have missed it by a mile, right? May have missed it by a long shot, but you know they tried. You need to say, you know what, you missed it, but I appreciate your effort.
Right.
I appreciate your effort.
So, okay, Marlon. So a while ago, I had read a book, and I was talking to you about some of the different Dad, I'm tired. I'm searching for someone. A bunch of, I can't find the right word. Concepts. A bunch of different concepts in this book. It was a book on marriage, by a marriage therapist that I love, and she talked about how for her, she teaches her clients to not think that I just have this person for the rest of my life, right? Now, I know that we as believers, when we get married, we believe this thing is for life.
That's good.
But she was saying how she teaches her clients not to just assume that because you walk down the aisle and you said I do, that means that they are there for life. That there's a possibility that if things don't go wrong, they could leave. And she was saying she tells them that because she feels like sometimes we get so comfortable with the thought and with the idea that they're minds for life that we begin to not put as much effort, that we began to not try as much, that we began to, you know, we think we got it, and so we don't have to do much to maintain it. And when I was talking to you about it before, you had you wasn't in complete agreement with what I was saying. You know, you were saying like you don't like that mindset.
Well, no, I think automatically you wouldn't like the mindset, but I think the concept is powerful, right? Because even when you think about, you know, the Word of God, you think about God, it says, you know, take heed unless you fall, right? So even though I am free from a sin, I also got to be mindful that I can sin again. Yeah. I've been free from it. I've been dealing with it. Again, alcoholics say I'm always an alcoholic because they always got to tell themselves that I can fall off the wagon again. So maybe that concept is good for marriages to say, you know what, I got to go into this, like, not that I'm about to lose him or her, but, you know, this is not promised, right? And I got to try my very best to keep this a promise, to keep this thing real. So I got to keep on trying. So, but if I keep that in the back of my mind, then I'll always possibly put forth the effort, right? I always possibly try to say, hey, look, I want to look nice. I want to smell nice. I want to give compliments. I want to go on dates. I want to because this is not promised. Now, if you if you're okay with not keeping this forever, then cool, don't do it. But for me and you and whoever else is out there, you want this to be forever, so you want to make sure it's forever. Is forever. As we move to our next point, marriage is being intentional. Effort is intentional, right? It's intentional. Like so many times in our life, we feel like things are just going to happen. We feel like they just going to fall into our lap. Nothing just falls into our lap. Nothing just falls into our lap. We have to go get it. We got to grind. We got to work. We got to think. We have to think that we're going to do this. We have to be proactive in doing that. And then proactive in doing that is effort.
Right. And it's Marlon and I were away this week, and we actually got back today. And one of the things that I was talking to him about was, well, we all know if you are pulled away in multiple different directions, you're pulled away by your job, you're pulled away depending on like what phase of life your parents, Asian parents might be in, different people that you might be supporting. Add to that children and extracurricular activities and all the different things that make us so busy. I think like it's sometimes it's so hard to put in effort to like to your marriage when you're pulled into so many other different directions. Sometimes it's sad, but the people who you want to spend the rest of your life with are the people who you end up giving the worst to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, say you have a long day at work, he has a long day at work, you get home, by that time you're irritated or you're frustrated. So it goes back to your point of saying you just have to be very intentional because it's so many other things that pull you in so many different
and you got to know the balance, and you got to know the priority. You got to know what's important. You got to know what's going to last you long and what's temporary. Right? So why am I putting energy in a relationship or even an opportunity that's not going to be here tomorrow, but the person who I'm sitting next to, laying next to, is going to be here forever? Right? So again, to say, you know what, I got this opportunity to go and grind with my friends or to go do some stuff. Say, hey, look, man, we already did this venture for about 3 days now, but it's time for me to go home. I can't do this forever. So I got to prioritize. My daughter asks us this questions all the time, these crazy questions, and I'm not gonna get into this one question. I know there's one question, and this one question is if about if certain people were drowning. Now I'm not even gonna give you who were drowning, but if certain people were drowning, who would you jump in and save? You only got one time to go in, but it's 3 different groups of people that's drowning, 3 different family members that's drowning. Who would you save? And you just gotta go with priority. You have to go with of course relationships are all tight. And they're all tough, but with us, we go with the Word of God and what the Word of God tells us. But you have to, when it comes to being pulled back and forth, you got to go with priority. And you got to know, listen, I'm spending all my time with you, but you can really end up, this thing could be over. Relationship, job opportunity, business venture. That could be over tomorrow, right? Where I'm neglecting the one who's going to be here forever.
Right. No, sure. And then even another thing that we talked about, we're going to move on to the next thing, like sometimes it's hard, like for anyone who's married and who have family, that's why we try to go, we do like staycations often. So even though we'll have our big vacations, we try to steal away from our children because like, let's be honest, especially for me as a mom, like everyone is like trying to get my attention, right? Like I sit on the couch and it's crazy. Like my daughter wants to sit next to me. My nephew wants to sit next to me. My niece wants to sit. I want to sit next to him. Honestly, right? Do you want to sit next to me too?
Of course.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm constantly trying to give everyone my attention. But when we are able to take time away, I could just spoil him. I don't have to worry about everybody else trying to, and he could just spoil me. Yeah, he could just spoil me. So I encourage, especially parents who have children, to make sure you carve out time just to yourselves because we know that we are inclined to nurture and to take care of our children who need it. But make sure that you carve out time away from your children. It's so important. It's so important.
Don't wait for the time.
It's never gonna happen. Make the time.
Make the time.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing is gratitude. Gratitude. I think this is so important because I think it's our human nature. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's our human nature to want to feel appreciated.
Yeah.
It is. Like, we want to feel appreciated for whatever it is that we're doing. And if we don't care about it as much with, people outside of our home, we most certainly want to feel appreciated from our significant other. So if you want to feel appreciated, then it's important for you to be gracious and show that gratitude towards your significant other. Let them know when you see their effort. Let them know when you see, them working on their appearance for you or working on their communication style for you or when they're being more vulnerable for you. For men, it's hard for them to be vulnerable. Yeah. My husband, I would say the last few years, has become so much more open.
Yeah,
and I know it's still a struggle. I know it is, which all the more makes me show my gratitude to you.
You're trying.
Yes, and when I fall short, then he's able to remind me, well, babe, I've struggled with this for a while.
I've come a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. So show them that that you appreciate them and that you are grateful for who they are, for their character, for the gifts that they might give you, whether the gifts are, tangible or maybe it's, things that are not tangible. Let them know that you appreciate them.
And also, too, we've all read the love languages book, but that you're telling them in their love language, right? Because I know that you like to show appreciation by buying gifts, right? So I know you like to, show gratitude or tell them certain things by buying gifts, but they may not understand that language.
Yes.
That's not their language, and that's, is but that's kind of like, I'm like, yo, this is what I do to show you that I appreciate you. Like, I try my very best. I'm not always, but I'm, one of my strengths is, helps, right? One of my strengths is help. So it's like, hey, listen, if you could just sit down, I got it from here. Don't worry about it. I got it. But one of my weaknesses, you can't mention your strength without mentioning your weakness. My weakness is verbiage, right? My weakness is saying certain things. Yes, I tell her that she's pretty. Yes, but again, affirmation. So I'm, in my mind, I'm like, and that goes to my childhood, right? That goes through to me, not my upbringing, but just my household. What was in there, what wasn't in there. So I'm thinking like, hey, listen, I'm helping you, so I'm telling you that I see you, I appreciate you, I know what you're doing. But she's like, that's not my language, and that doesn't resonate with me. That may make you feel good, but what resonates with me is me hearing you say certain things.
I'm also a complicated being, right? Let's be honest. And so probably my love language are all of them. Like, I really desperately need like all 5 of them. Like, and you
need like 5 people, because no, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I know I'm a lot. I know one of the things that I say is like, I know I'm a handful, but then I say that's why you got 2 hands. So yeah, that he already finishes it before me. So if you're watching this with your with your significant other, even if you're not, one of the challenges I want to call you to is to let them know why you appreciate them. Let them know. Maybe you told them this morning, maybe you told them last week, but if you don't have it right now, maybe you can do it right now. Look at them and say, I appreciate you for doing this.
Yeah.
There has been studies that have been done that, particularly with couples where, a trained therapist would sit in a room with them and they will begin to verbalize, why they appreciate them. And then they did like a saliva sample, and there's this certain chemical that comes from out of their saliva that's affiliated with positive feelings. And it just goes to show that words of like affirmation and words of gratitude, they genuinely make a person feel better. They just make you feel better. And why wouldn't you want to make your significant other feel better?
I agree.
Y'all both should be trying to make each other feel better. What a happy place to be in.
Yeah. Gratitude. Let's show gratitude.
Gratitude. Okay, so my next one is persistence. And I think that this is so important if you are interested in being in a long-term relationship. Pastor Marlon, he preached a sermon, or I don't know if it was a sermon, but he definitely talked about how, like, when there is resistance, people would make us feel like that's our time to quit, or make us feel like something is wrong, or make us feel like, things shouldn't be that hard. And I would say, I don't know what it is about my childhood that makes it. I'm becoming better, but I have been that type of person for a very long time where I feel like there is resistance. And that is with anything in life, especially with relationships. Like, if it's resistance, I ain't got no time for it. I don't want to deal with it. But I've learned through the Word of God, I've learned through this man that just because there's resistance doesn't mean that it's time for me to quit. Yeah. That it could be time for me to be persistent and to realize that some things are worth fighting for. So in a relationship, again, definitely in a marriage, it's important for you to be persistent. Even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't want to, it's important for you to be persistent in your pursuit of each other. It's important for you to be persistent and you offering forgiveness and you receiving forgiveness. It's important for you to be persistent.
I think as I was saying,
there's going to be conflict.
Yeah, there's going to be conflict.
Inevitable.
Right? And I think in something that we have here, it does say healthy relationships involve working through disagreements and conflicts. You must be by your partner's side as the two of you weather the storm together, right? So I think the only thing when it comes to persistency, because people can say, you know, what if I've been fighting for a while, right? I've been persistent for a while. What is it? So one thing that I can say again, we never believe in divorce or the D word, but at the same token,
see, he shouldn't even said that.
Yeah, I know. We call it the D word. We don't say the actual word. Nah, the D word. All right. So, but we don't believe in the D word. But with that being said, persistency, fighting. But what happens if? So for two people, both of you have to put on boxing gloves, right? Both of you have to. You have to both put on boxing gloves. Both have to be willing to fight. Both have to be. So what does that mean? That means like, listen, if somebody wrongs me, I got to weather the storm and work on my trust, right? And work on my forgiveness and work on my belief again, right? In this relationship. I gotta be persistent with that. But the person that wronged the other person got to make sure that your spouse knows, like, I'm working on this not happening again, right? So if I'm working on my belief and my trust, then you, on the other hand, can't keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So you both gotta work at it. But what if one got their gloves on, the other one doesn't? That makes it tough. Still don't believe in the D word, even with that, you know. But I guess it do come a time when the D word is real, but we don't necessarily want to always promote it. Always promote
you want
it.
To exhaust.
But yeah, persistency is key. You know, I think I was saying that today, during the sermon. Anything with longevity, let you know that it has problems. It has problems, and many people were saying like, "Hey, listen, if that hurt, you got to stop doing it." Right? If that hurt, you got to stop doing it. That's a lie. That's a lie. And again, the pastor, Jesus Christ was on the cross. He went on the cross and it hurted. And he did not stop from doing what he did, right? So yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful, right? But you have to be persistent. You got to fight through those. If both of you have your boxing gloves on and you're not letting no one come against your mindset, I guarantee you you can get through it. But you got to put on your boxing gloves. You got to lace them up and you got to start throwing some punches.
Say all of that, husband. So
last one.
You want to do the last one? You do two more.
Let's do the last one. It's
okay. So the last one. What do you want the last one to be? There could be this one, or this one. That I think you had said that one at first, but I wasn't sure.
No, let's go back down. We have a few of them, so bear with us, y'all. Bear with us. Let's go with let's go with this one.
Respect?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not surprised you said that because you're a man, and we all know. I would deal with humility.
We can do both. Let's do both.
Let's do respect first. Do you want to start with respect or no? Yes. Okay, go ahead.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
What?
All right. R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
R-E. Okay, yeah.
Yes, I can spell. Told you. I told y'all. I told you. Black card revoked. I told you. All right. See, you can't know.
I said that.
Can't do it. Aretha. All right. Anyway. Giving someone the respect they deserve is a surefire way to make them like you, right? To make them like you. Everyone sees themselves as deserving of basic human kindness and sweetness. Basic human kindness and sweetness, right? We're not asking for much. There's not much that we're asking for when it comes to sweetness and when it comes to kindness, right? And when you do those things really with respect, people know, hey, this person, right, simply like, and I can like this person because they're respecting me, right? Respecting my opinions, respecting me as a person, respecting me even though I may be different than them. Right, they respect all that. They respect
my opinions, my viewpoints, my perspectives.
Yep. They respect it to the point where even if they respect, they respect it because they're asking for your viewpoints. They're asking for your opinions, even if they know that it's different from theirs for the most part. Right, even though they know that we don't think the same, right? But I still respect you because I respect it because I respect you as a person. I respect you as a person. So again, that's simply what I want to talk about. It's not really long.
Yeah.
But real quick, I want to read this. Okay. Respecting your loved ones involves much more than merely being kind to them. It also requires honoring your partner's opinion. We said that. No matter how much you disagree. Respectfulness is giving them the benefit of the doubt and listening to what they have to say. It also means not trash talking them behind their back or playing with their emotions, right? Again, so the one thing is that Respect is giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, hey, listen, I don't know, but I respect you for saying that, and I respect you for feeling that. So it's not that much.
It's not that much. I think I've always been great. I'm old fashioned in some and probably a lot of my ways, especially in regards to like relationships and like our household. I'm very old fashioned. And so whatever he tells me to do, I'm going to do. I'm going to do it, and I'm not even going to fight him on it. But I think for me, what has been the struggle for me, and I didn't even realize that this had something to do with respect, honestly, until, he began to verbalize and tell me, was like different viewpoints, right? And different perspectives. I had a hard time with that. Definitely had a hard time with that. And so I didn't realize how often I would try to change his viewpoints or change his perspectives. Or challenge his viewpoint. I don't think there's anything wrong with challenging them, right?
No, of course.
But I wouldn't want to challenge them. I would be trying to change them, right? And so there's an issue with that. I think I definitely have gotten a lot better. Not only do I think I've gotten a lot better with accepting his viewpoints and his opinions, but I have begun to actually grow an appreciation for them, like, and to be genuinely curious about like how his mind got to that opinion or that viewpoint, because my natural inclination took me in the complete opposite direction. So I'm like, I'm genuinely curious, like, wow, like, where did you get that from?
Yeah,
like,
and that's fine. But what you cannot do, not that she does it, but what you cannot do is get mad at the person for necessarily being different than you, right?
Yeah.
I respect you for being you. As long as your personality is respectable, as long as what you're doing is respectable, right? I still respect you. And I'm going to be curious, and I'm going to say, hey, what made you get to that? What made you think that?
I used to be frustrated.
Annoyed.
Like, I'm like, but how? Like, what? I don't understand. Like, I used to be so annoyed. Like, it'd be all out war over the littlest things. Like, how could you possibly think that? Like,
or do that. Yeah, I'm not hurting nobody.
He's not hurting nobody. And I even had to get to the point, I'm like, he didn't really? Like, seriously, like, it's his viewpoint. It's his perspective. Like,
respect it.
It's not hurting no one. It's not even inconvenient to me. It's his viewpoint. Exactly. It's fine.
Now, if you feel like your viewpoint and your intellect is on two different levels, like,
that's different.
I respect that, but I need a deeper thinker.
Yeah.
I need somebody who is not so critical in thinking.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever. That's a different story, right? But go ahead.
I want to give a real life example, and this just happened to us this weekend.
I wasn't going to say it.
I'm going to say it. I'll put me all the way out there, and this is the ridiculousness. But I promise you, I've gotten a lot better.
A lot better.
But this shocked me
that we were back here.
This was a relapse. So we relapse sometimes, right?
We do.
Listen, we relapse sometimes. So we're walking down the street, wherever we were, and a homeless person.
It wasn't a homeless person.
I don't know what else to call them.
Oh, you mean the first time?
The first time.
Okay.
Yeah, right. The first time this homeless person, he ain't got no money on him. I'm the person who got all the cash.
I do got the money on me.
Because it's his birthday weekend, and so I'm doing this, right? He had no money. Did he have money, yes or no?
We share our money, so we never say we don't have money.
No, we share money.
I went to the ATM, and I took the money out of the ATM,
and
I gave it to her.
My fanny pack, okay? Yeah. So I already knew. I already started bracing myself. Hold on, it's a homeless person. He gonna ask me to give. My husband's gonna ask me to go on my fanny pack to give him money.
Give me money so I can give the man.
So the first time I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I go on the fanny pack. I give him the money. He gives the man, even though, well, y'all don't know, but I don't be playing with this coronavirus. And so I was already like, oh gosh, this is too close. What is happening? Being completely vulnerable. He gave the man the money. It was fine.
$3.
It doesn't matter. It was fine. Then we seen another homeless person. I was already like, oh gosh. First of all, I had wanted to use the cash for something else, and you told me no. But now all of a sudden, I realized the cash was for all the homeless people we was going to see on our way. So we seen another man, and I already know he was incredibly uncomfortable, but we walked past him. And really, in my spirit, I almost wanted to give it to him because I know he really wanted to do it. But he didn't do it. So we walked past, and then we see a man selling, I don't know, a CD, a hat, It don't matter. He could have been selling his leg, and this man gonna want to buy it, or he don't even want the product. He just want to give it to him. So he looked at me. He said, "How much money you had?" I had like $30 on me. He wanted the whole $30 to give it to this man, and I was just like, "No, I'm not giving you this money. Why? Like, I wanted to use this money for something else. You didn't let me use this money for something else. This is ridiculous. You cannot be so nice. Like, you can't just give everything. I know it's not everything we have."
It's like $33.
But I was so annoyed, and I'm embarrassed to say it, guys.
So anyway,
I
let me pick up from here. So now I get the money, but I get it from her reluctantly. This young man, for me, he's grinding out here. He's sitting on the streets of Philadelphia, and he's trying to say, "Hey, sir, you want to buy my hats or my shirts?" I didn't want to buy it. I'm not going to wear it. But hey, listen, I see that you grinding. I see everybody walking past you. He got a hustler's mentality. So let me sow into your job or your business or whatever the case may be. So she reluctantly gives it to me out of her fanny pack. And then as I'm going back to the guy to turn around, I feel like she's not next to me. So I turn around.
I forgot about that.
I turn around. She's walking the opposite direction down South Street in Philly. And I'm saying, like, we don't do that. Like, why are you walking the opposite direction? So I call her, and she gets mad. I look at her, like, what's wrong?
Because we got to go back, y'all. We got to go back like 10 minutes to give this man this $30. Okay?
So anyway, long story short, people dropping off the thing because we talk about this too much. We know that. But listen. I feel like, again, so we talked about it. Long story short.
And then I said to him, you know what? I am wrong because this is not hurting me, and $33 means absolutely nothing to us.
It's
so
I
said from now on, when we go out, I am going to go to the AT because he be feeling so bad. I'm going to get money, and I'm not trying to be shady or funny or petty. I'm going to start getting money that is specifically for people on the street. So you got $25. If you want to give it all to this one person, do it. But that way I expect it, so I already know. Maybe I'll get singles so you can spread the love, Yeah, so you can spread the love. And that was my result.
Yeah, but also too, at the end of the day, also too, you can go get it.
It's probably
I know. But at the end of the day, she had a relapse, right? Just respect the way that I move and I grind. I don't walk out.
And then I had to start appreciating it. I'm like, I'm so grateful. I was like a fool. And I'm like, Lord, I'm so grateful to be married to a man who has such a big heart. And yeah, sometimes it's inconvenient because, we got to go back or I got to wait for him to go help these people.
And I'm never, and as we get to our last point, and I'm never irresponsible with it.
No,
I'm
not.
Never to the point where.
Except for that one time that we picked up that person.
A hitchhiker. Twice. 2 hitchhikers, right? So it's just crazy.
But I'm grateful for this man's heart.
Anyway.
So I'm a recipient of all of the love.
Anyway. So, but at the end of the day, respect the person's viewpoints, respect the person's behavior, respect what the person is going to do, and then, but also at the same time, using my example, respect her, right? So will never put her in a tough situation where it's dangerous for her, right? Again, her giving me money to give the guy because she has the cash on her. It's never out in the open. We're never walking down the street with singles, right? We're doing it really covertly, if you can say, right? So that they don't know. But anyway, whatever your viewpoints are, respect it. Honor them to a certain degree. But at the end of the day, respect. RESPECT.
Yes. Okay, so our last one is humility.
Yes, our
last one is humility, and basically we think that that's so important because you need to be able to say that I don't get it right all the time. You got to be able to say that I was wrong. You got to be a right to say that I misspoke. Yep. You got to realize that you're not perfect. Yep. And that you don't always dot all your I's and cross all your T's. And being humble is incredibly important, and that individual being able to be gracious towards you, that individual to be able to forgive, to be able to move on. Your spirit is going to completely affect, how you guys progress and move on in your relationship. So humility is important. Nobody wants to be around a person who can never acknowledge that they're wrong. No one wants to be in a relationship with a person who never acknowledges their wrongdoings or their mistakes or their errors. That's exhausting. And there's no room for there's no room for improvement if you're saying that you got it all together. And no one has it all together.
No one. And again, you need to be big enough and bold enough, air quotes, and old enough to say you're wrong. right? I say that a lot of times with her. I say that I am 40 years old, be 41 tomorrow. 41, I'm 41 years old tomorrow, and I'm big enough to say that I'm wrong. Like, I'm big enough to say that I'm wrong, and that person, and I believe that she's not gonna say I told you so, and no, listen, I'm wrong. Let's move now. I apologize for it. I said I was. Now let's move on to what's right. Let's not spend 30 years on what's wrong, right? I acknowledge it. I'm not trying to fight it. I'm not trying to say I wasn't. I was wrong for what I said. I was wrong for what I did. Now, of course, in that apology, it's got to be it got to be somewhat heartfelt, right? It got to be somewhat sensitive. I can be like, okay, yeah, I'm wrong. All right, I'm sorry. So what? No, kind of like, no, I'm really sorry for what I said. Didn't mean to hurt you that much. X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So we have to be humble enough to say that. Humble enough to do things that's not normal for us. Humble enough to do the things that we're not familiar with, right? That we're fighting for, right? So again, humility goes a very, very long way. All right, that's all. So, but what I want to say, as we close out 45 minutes into this, what I want to say is that what's love got to do with this? I want to say this: everything. And the reason why I say everything, because I think we think nothing, but the reason I think everything, because I really do think if you got love, then you'll fight for these things to happen. If you really love this person, you will make effort. If you really love this person, you will show humility. If you really love this person, then you will communicate your problems. Now, they won't be easy, right? But I love you enough to communicate. I love you enough to show effort. I love you enough to be what's the other ones we had? Interdependent. So anyway, I love you enough to do all these things, right? So I believe it starts with love and it ends with love, and we sandwich everything else in between.
But, and I want to just add to this, just because people aren't doing those things doesn't mean that love is not the foundation. And this was something I had to realize, even growing up. Sometimes people don't know how to, right?
Yeah.
They don't know how to be honest. They don't know how to be vulnerable. They don't know how to be forthcoming. They don't know how to be selfless. They don't know how to do it. Yeah. But they got to be willing to learn. I would say that, whatever that learning might look like for them, like they got to be willing to do the work. So just because those things aren't present, it doesn't mean that love is not there. Sometimes people just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, and they weren't exposed to things. Yeah. I mean, listen, listen, we can do this all day, because talking to people about relationships, you have to understand that they didn't come from what you came from. They didn't deal with what you dealt with. They didn't go through what you went through. Your experiences are not,
and we know that they directly shape your way of thinking, your way of behaving, your way of,
and I said it before, the reason why, she was saying some things to me this week, and I was like, you uncomfortable? And she knew I was. She was saying it like in a more jovial way. She knew I was, because again, that's just not me. It's just not me. It's just not me. And so whether you come from a 2-parent household, whether you come from living with your grandmother and kind of in and out with your mother and father, never knew your father, never knew your mother, right? Hey, you got 5 siblings, you're the only child, whatever, that's your story, and that makes you. So when you get married to someone, you have to know that. And I think we just had a counseling session with premarital about 2 weeks ago, and we were telling them, as we were closing out with them, we were telling them that at one point in time, listen to this, one point in time, I don't know how long ago it was, there were certain things you had to do before you got married. There's certain tests you had to take. There were certain, so you would know what you're getting yourself into. So I'm not saying that to say don't do that, but there's some real questions, right? Bigger than who you've been with, how many partners you had, bigger than what's your credit score, if you got kids, am I gonna be dealing with baby mama drama? Those are good questions to ask too. But also to contemplate also who what's your past, right? What's your past, and not to ask the question, but just survey it.
What was your relationship like with your mother?
Yeah, with your father.
What was your relationship like with your father, with your siblings? Because those things are the foundation that's how they know what relationships are,
Yeah.
or what they don't know about relationships.
Yeah, and we can't necessarily judge them because that's what I know.
Yes.
Right? That's all I know. I don't. And again, my biggest thing is didn't really know. Love my mom, love my dad. I don't know if they're watching. Amen. But we didn't really know the word "I love you." I know my mom loved me. I know my father loved me, but we didn't say that. That's not what we did around the house.
And then my family,
and then her family, it was over the top.
And I, in return, am incredibly affectionate.
And I'm kind of like, what's that?
Yeah, or was like that.
Oh, yeah, was, not no more, but what's that? Like, why all these I love yous? Because that's just not what we did, right? So she understood that. She understood that possibly when I started to ask those, started to tell the truth, like, I guess. Yeah. She's like, okay, that makes sense. So we work on them. We put forth the effort. Yeah. We put forth the effort.
And Latrell saying, even with those questions, you still get surprised in marriage, right?
Absolutely.
You get surprised in marriages for multiple reasons. Sometimes they can't even answer the questions because they don't even realize things that
they don't realize it. Yeah.
Right? And then just like you said, no matter how much you know, even no matter how much you know about yourself, there are different triggers and there are different things that just come up in life. That's just the reality.
Yeah. And that's why at the end of the day, when you really love this person and you really open and honest and you talk about it and you sift through them, then you begin to work on them. Yeah. You begin to work on them. You begin to be honest. And then when you tell them, it's just not because I want this.
Yes.
Because I want this. Yes. Because I deserve this. Yes. I don't know how to do it.
Yes.
I don't know how to do that.
Listen.
I don't know how to do that. Yes, you do. You know how to do it. I don't. I don't. And you deserve for it to be done. So work with me. Work with me here. Work with. Allow me to give that to you. Be patient. See my effort. I'm probably not as affectionate as you want me to be, and you deserve for me to be. But I don't know that. You want me to be open and honest and tell you everything, but you know how many people in my life have shut me up for talking, right? I cover my household, not me, but someone can cover my household to say your words don't matter.
Yeah, they didn't count.
My opinions don't count.
I was told as a man, you don't be vulnerable.
You don't be vulnerable. You don't cry. Yeah. You know, just so many things that can hurt us growing. So we have to understand. Once it's communicated, right? If it's not communicated, we don't really know, right? We don't know. But if you love, say, hey, listen, what's this going on with you, and not really appreciating me verbally, and then if it's like, I think I do, no, we really don't, then, you might got to talk about some things a little bit. But anyway, take some of these things. What's love got to do with it? I think everything. I believe that if you can start with love, end with love, and sandwich everything in between. But if you love someone totally and you can't see yourself, you want to grow old with them, can't see yourself without them, you would do what you have to do to make that thing work.
Love it.
All right, you do it. You have to make that thing work. All right, this is Marlon.
This
is Marlon. All right, so we're gonna be on here every first
Sunday.
Every first Sunday at 6:00. All right. So again, thank y'all. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, get those notifications, because this is the only thing that MKW got going on. We got the locker room. We got the locker room coming up with my fellas. We also got our podcast. Yeah. Go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, and you can listen to some podcasts from some great guests. That's all we got. We got some drama coming up. We got some great drama coming up. Some podcast drama. You can put your headphones in and just listen to the drama through your headphones, right? So again, this is Marlon. This is Marlon.
Kina.
All right. This is MKW.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, we will see you when we see you.